You know, friend, at 80 years old, I've learned a thing or two about how fragile the human heart really is. I've been lucky, stubborn, and maybe a little foolish at times. But that heart of mine, it's the real hero here. And lately, I've been thinking a lot about all the foods we love that are basically ticking time bombs for folks like us. Let me tell you, a few weeks ago, I had coffee with an old buddy of mine. He's a heart surgeon. Sharp as a scalpel and scarier than a haunted house when it comes to heart health. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Paul, if people over 70 keep eating the way they did at 50, their hearts won't forgive them." And I sat there choking on my coffee, realizing he wasn't exaggerating. Friend, I've lived through my share of culinary sins. Dripping steaks, fries piled higher than a toddler's sandcastle, sugary desserts that could put a candy factory out of business. And let me tell you, my arteries remember. They remember every misstep, every just one more bite, every celebratory drink that got a little too celebratory. And now I want to share my stories and the hard lessons I've learned because I care about you, and I don't want your heart to stage a rebellion on you. Let's start with the obvious villain, red meat. Friend, I loved red meat. Steaks sizzling in butter, Sunday roasts that smelled like heaven, burgers that were basically edible joy. But after 70, red meat isn't just indulgent, it's dangerous. The fat and cholesterol start to clog your arteries like a drain full of old cooking oil. And the heart surgeon made it painfully clear, one too many greasy dinners and you're flirting with a deadly heart attack. I remember a particular night. I was 77, celebrating my birthday with a triple bacon cheeseburger. I took one bite and my chest whispered a polite but firm, "Nope, not today." I think my arteries were waving tiny red flags at me. That was the night I realized I needed to make some changes. Lean meats, fish, more vegetables. I even tried tofu once. Friend, it was like chewing a sponge, but my heart didn't protest, so I called it a win. And then there's sugar. Sweet, seductive sugar. Cakes, cookies, soda, my weaknesses. I could sniff a chocolate bar from 3 rooms away. I once ate a whole cake at my neighbor's party and didn't feel shame until my chest started protesting. Sugar spikes your blood pressure, your blood sugar jumps like a caffeinated kangaroo, and your heart throws a silent tantrum. My surgeon friend called it a red-hot poker in a delicate clock. Dramatic, yes, but painfully accurate. I had to switch to herbal teas and dark chocolate. Friend, I still grumble sometimes, but I also feel lighter and more energetic. It's like my arteries are cheering every time I choose a berry instead of a donut. And speaking of cheering, fats and fried foods, my lifelong companions. Fried chicken, French fries, onion rings, the list goes on. I used to think if it was fried, it was automatically delicious. But fried foods are sneaky. They raise your LDL cholesterol, the bad guy cholesterol, faster than gossip spreads in a small town. I once had a friend over for dinner and served fried calamari. My heart immediately staged a protest. It was like it had a little megaphone inside my chest yelling, "Paul, what have you done?" I learned to bake, grill, and air fry instead. And you know what? Those techniques aren't nearly as exciting as deep frying in lard, but my heart is grateful. And isn't that what counts? Then came the processed meats, bacon, sausages, deli meats, my lifelong temptation. I loved the convenience, the taste, the sheer thrill of sneaking a strip of bacon when no one was looking. But after 70, processed meats are like sending passive-aggressive letters to your heart. Eventually, it snaps. I had a particularly dramatic episode with bacon at 75. One morning, I indulged in a breakfast fit for a king, and by midday, my chest felt like it was hosting a heavy metal concert. That was the day I realized bacon could be an occasional treat, not a daily ritual. And oh, salt. I used to sprinkle salt like it was confetti. Morning coffee? Salt. Vegetables? Salt. Ice cream? Why not? But too much sodium is a silent killer. It elevates blood pressure, stresses your heart, and quietly increases the risk of heart attack. My surgeon buddy said, even if it tastes bland, your heart doesn't care about your taste buds. So I learned to embrace herbs, spices, and yes, the occasional bland meal. My taste buds grumbled, but my arteries threw a parade. I know, friend, some of this sounds like a sad lecture, but I promise there's humor in here. Like the time I tried to bake kale chips instead of reaching for potato chips. I ended up burning them into what I can only describe as crispy little tributes to my past mistakes. My cat, bless her heart, pretended to enjoy them. My arteries thrilled. And then we have refined carbs. White bread, pastries, soft, fluffy pasta, my weakness. I'd walk past a bakery and my heart would flutter. Not from excitement, mind you, but from fear. Refined carbs spike blood sugar and insulin levels, which stresses the heart over time. My surgeon friend was blunt. It's like constantly revving a car engine without oil. I had a few engine failures myself. Mini heart flutters, chest discomfort, and let me tell you, they were not fun. Whole grains, oats, and fibrous foods became my new friends. And surprisingly, my heart loved the change. Finally, alcohol. Ah, my old companion. Wine, beer, whiskey, the liquid joys of life. But moderation is everything. Overindulgence after 70 can be deadly. One night, my 78th birthday, I thought, just one more glass. My heart disagreed vehemently. I learned to toast life, not my heart attack risk. A sip or two is okay. Overdoing it is like asking your heart to run a marathon after it's been asleep for decades. Now, friend, you might be thinking, Paul, this all sounds grim. But hear me out. I've also learned joy in moderation. I've laughed, danced, and yes, indulged occasionally, but my heart has been the silent partner keeping me alive to enjoy it all. And that's what matters. I also have to tell you, if you're enjoying these little confessions, take a moment to like this video or comment with your own guilty pleasures. Trust me, sharing these stories keeps us all honest and laughing. The funny thing is, avoiding these 7 deadly foods doesn't mean a boring life. Not at all. I've discovered new flavors, experimented with herbs, tried Mediterranean diets, swapped fried calamari for grilled, and even baked kale chips without burning them. Okay, maybe once or twice. And the best part? My heart feels lighter, my energy is better, and I wake up every day knowing I've done my best to honor the 8 decades it's carried me through. Because, friend, at 80, I can tell you, the heart isn't just a muscle. It's a story. Every beat tells a story of our choices, our loves, our mistakes, our laughter, our indulgences, and our redemption. I remember sitting with my surgeon friend sipping herbal tea instead of coffee for once, and he said, Paul, you've learned, you've survived, but remember, it's never too late for people over 70 to start caring. And I realized he wasn't just talking about me. He was talking about everyone we love, everyone we want to see live long, laugh often, and dance at weddings when we're supposed to be old and sensible. And let me tell you, friend, laughter really is medicine. I've laughed at my heart, I've laughed at myself, I've even laughed at kale chips. And every time, it's like a little spark of joy in the arteries, a reminder that life, in all its mistakes and indulgences, is still worth it. So here's my advice, drawn from a lifetime of mistakes, heart scares, and occasional triumphs. Avoid the red meat excess, limit sugar, skip fried foods most of the time, be wary of processed meats, moderate salt, embrace whole grains, and drink responsibly. And do it with a smile, because life is too short to eat bland food without a grin. Friend, I can feel your heart nodding along, or maybe that's just mine still talking, but I hope you take this seriously. And if you're still with me, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe so we can keep sharing these stories. I promise I've got plenty more embarrassing tales where these came from, and your heart will thank you for listening. Remember, every choice we make feeds our heart, our arteries, and our joy. Choose wisely, laugh often, and never underestimate the power of a small, healthy change. Because at 80, I've learned that life is fragile, fleeting, and fantastic, and our hearts deserve every ounce of care we can give them. Now, friend, let me tell you something. Avoiding those 7 dangerous foods after 70 isn't just about rules and restrictions. It's about learning to listen to your body. And believe me, your body has a lot to say if you pay attention. I remember a morning a few years back. I woke up feeling off. Not terrible, just a little heavier, a little slower, like my heart was sending me a subtle, "Paul, we need to talk." I had been indulging in a bit too much bacon, a few extra desserts, and maybe a celebratory glass or 3 of wine. That day, I realized that ignoring the whispers of your heart is a lot like ignoring a friend who keeps texting you, "Dude, seriously?" Eventually, it escalates. So I started paying closer attention. Breakfast became intentional. Instead of pastries, I reached for oatmeal topped with fresh berries and a sprinkle of nuts. Instead of coffee loaded with sugar, I opted for herbal tea or black coffee with just a dash of cinnamon. Friend, I swear my arteries probably did a little happy dance every morning, and if they could text me, they would have said, "Thank you, Paul, we've missed this." You know, it's funny how small changes make such a big difference. I started noticing my energy levels improving. Walking up the stairs didn't feel like climbing Everest. My chest didn't tighten after a hearty breakfast. And emotionally, well, I felt lighter. It's incredible how something as simple as changing what you eat can lift both your body and spirit. Now, I won't lie to you. The first few weeks were challenging. I'm 80, friend, and habits die hard. I found myself eyeing a burger or a slice of cake like it was the last treasure on earth. But I had to remind myself, the treasure I really want is my life, my health, and the laughter I can still share with my friends and family. That, my dear friend, is worth far more than any fleeting taste of sugar or fried indulgence. Speaking of laughter, let me tell you about the time I tried making heart-healthy snacks for a little gathering. I baked these kale chips, thinking I'd finally mastered them. You should have seen my face when I took a bite. Charred like little green embers. My friends laughed so hard, and I had to admit I deserved every chuckle. But my heart thrilled. It doesn't care if I fail in the kitchen. It only cares that I'm making choices to keep it ticking. And it's not just about avoiding the bad stuff. It's about embracing the good. Fresh fruits, colorful vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, healthy fats. These aren't punishments. They're gifts. They're little celebrations for the most important organ in your body. I've learned to find joy in cooking and eating this way. I experiment with spices, I try new recipes, and I even discovered a love for Mediterranean-inspired dishes. Friend, who knew that a drizzle of olive oil and a handful of roasted almonds could make me feel like a gourmet chef at 80? But let's talk about mistakes, because life at 80 isn't without them. I had a moment of weakness during a family reunion. Someone brought a massive chocolate cake, the kind with layers so thick it could collapse under its own weight. I caved. I had a slice, maybe 2, and my heart? Well, it grungled. But you know what? I didn't panic. I acknowledged it, I learned, and I got back on track. That's what's important, friend. Life will tempt you. The trick is to forgive yourself and keep going. And there's something else I've learned about food and the heart. It's not just physical. Emotional eating can sneak up on you like a cat in the night. I've caught myself reaching for sweets when I was lonely, or nibbling on fried snacks when stressed. And let me tell you, that only made my heart sad, friend. The heart surgeon told me, Paul, stress and emotions affect your heart as much as food. Mind your mind. So I started walking, meditating, and yes, sometimes just laughing at my own ridiculousness. Friend, I can't stress enough how important humor is. I joke about my mistakes, I laugh at my kitchen disasters, and I share these stories because they keep my heart light. Laughter, believe it or not, has a measurable benefit for the heart. It lowers stress, relaxes blood vessels, and keeps the spirit young. So even as we try to eat healthier, let's not forget the joy of life, because that joy literally helps your ticker.
And speaking of sharing stories, let me nudge you a little. If you're enjoying these tales, click that like button, or leave a comment telling me about your own heart-healthy wins or spectacular fails. Let's make this a conversation, friend, because shared laughter and learning make it all so much better. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep hearing more of my ridiculous, heartfelt adventures. Back to the foods, friend. The temptation never really disappears, does it? I had a friend over, and she brought homemade cookies. I eyed them like a hawk. I could almost feel my arteries rolling their eyes. But I took one tiny bite, and it was heaven. One tiny bite. Then I moved on to a plate of roasted vegetables and grilled fish. Balance, my dear, balance. That's the trick. The heart surgeon even said, occasional indulgence is okay, as long as it's not habitual. And alcohol. Oh, I've had some stories there. Birthday parties, anniversaries, silly nights out with friends. At 80, I've learned my limit. And friend, it's a limit for a reason. Too much wine or whiskey can push your heart into dangerous territory, even if it tastes delightful. I now enjoy a small glass, savoring it, and then switching to sparkling water or herbal tea. My heart nods approvingly, and I feel every sip. It's mindfulness, and it's a gift at this age. I also want to share a little secret with you. My heart-healthy journey isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, awareness, and small, meaningful choices. Some days I stumble. Some days I grab a fried snack out of habit. But the difference now is I notice it, I adjust, and I learn. And friend, that's what makes a difference after 70. Life isn't about punishment. It's about wisdom, laughter, and honoring the gift of another heartbeat. Let me tell you about one of the funniest moments in this journey. I invited my grandson over for lunch and decided to make a heart-healthy sandwich. Whole grain bread, avocado, roasted vegetables. He looked at it, then at me, and said, "Grandpa, did you forget the bacon?" I laughed so hard I nearly spilled my herbal tea. But you know what? I didn't care. My heart smiled, and my grandson learned that healthy can be tasty too, eventually. Friend, here's the thing I want you to remember. These 7 foods, red meat, sugar, fried foods, processed meats, salt, refined carbs, and alcohol, aren't just bad. They're choices we need to respect and moderate. Each time we choose wisely, our heart rewards us with energy, strength, and yes, more time, more laughter, more moments we'll cherish. And friend, don't underestimate the ripple effect. Every healthy meal, every mindful sip, every little change sends a message to your body. I care about you. I respect you. Your heart remembers. Your family notices. Your joy grows. I've even started keeping a little journal of my meals and how I feel afterward. It's silly, maybe, but it helps me see patterns. My energy, mood, and even sleep improve when I stick to heart-friendly choices. And when I indulge occasionally, I enjoy it fully and move on without guilt. That's the balance, friend. That's the secret to surviving and thriving past 70. So, as I sit here, 80 years old, sharing these stories with you, I hope you understand this isn't just advice. It's a love letter from one heart to another. My heart has carried me through decades of joy, mistakes, love, and laughter. And now I want yours to keep beating strong for decades more. Let's embrace the foods that nourish us, laugh at the ones that tempt us, and celebrate every choice that keeps our hearts alive. Because, friend, at this age, every heartbeat is precious, every smile counts, and every shared story adds meaning to our journey. And finally, remember this: life at 80 doesn't have to be boring. It can be vibrant, full of flavor, full of laughter, and yes, full of heart-healthy choices. We don't have to sacrifice joy for health. We just need a little wisdom, moderation, and the courage to listen to our bodies. So, here's to our hearts, friend. May they beat strong, may they carry us through decades more, and may we never forget to laugh, love, and cherish every single moment. And if you've made it this far, like I said before, show a little love. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep this journey going. Because sharing wisdom, laughter, and stories is the best medicine of all. Remember, every meal is a choice, every choice is a message, and every heartbeat is a gift. Treat it well, laugh often, and live fully. Because, friend, there's nothing more valuable than an 80-year-old heart that's still beating, still learning, and still enjoying life.